am I supposed to say?
Welcome back to Once Upon a Tiny Farm.
Welcome back to Once Upon a Tiny Farm.
Today we're going to give you a tour of our tiny farm. So let's go.
Carrots under the ground.
What is it?
We're pulling carrots.
Oh,
And I see some right there.
there's lots of carrots in here.
Do you see some carrots down there?
Oh, I see it. That looks good.
Yeah, carrots.
So this is our main farm plot, and it is 4,000 square feet. So in the beginning of April, I took off a 40-foot by 100-foot silage tarp, and last year this was all grass, this whole 4,000 square foot plot that we covered with that tarp. In April we took off that tarp and started building all of these beds. So what we have is 12 rows across here. I have 12 rows across behind me, and then over here we have 12 rows across, and each walkway is about 10 to 12 inches, so it's not a very wide walkway. It's very close spacing, but that's just what we had to do to get the amount of rows that we have, and all of our rows are 25 feet long right now. So this was the majority of what we grew this year was over here, and we actually only utilized half of this 4,000 square foot plot. So we're only farming on 2,000 square feet over here this year. But I'll show you a little later in the video that we have plans to utilize the back half of this field to utilize the full 4,000 square feet for next year. So I'm excited about that. This is our first year of growing for market. It's the first year that we've utilized this plot specifically for a farm and for growing. So it's only going to get better from here. This plot combined with, I call it a mini plot that I have on the other side of our property here where our house is, it comes to about 1/8 of an acre that we're actually growing on. But we're not actually utilizing that whole 1/8 yet, but that's what we have available for growing, and next year I am going to utilize that whole 1/8 of an acre space. So the way our farm is based on models by Curtis Stone, who's known as the Urban Farmer, and I bought his book. I've mentioned him before in past videos. So a lot of the things that I've been doing and things that I've been doing here have been based on things that he's done in his farm. He's not a farmer anymore, but he was based in Canada. His book was outstanding. Maybe I'll post links to that book below. Another farmer, his name is Jean-Martin Fortier, and he wrote a book called The Market Gardener, which I haven't read. I would really like to get that book and read that, but I've watched a lot of his videos, and I also watch a lot of videos by Honey Tree Farm. They have a market garden down in North Carolina, and a lot of the videos that they've done have been really helpful for me too, because they grow a lot of the same stuff that I'm growing, and they do have a little bit more space than I have, and but I've also found them very helpful. So those three sources have been really big influences on me in figuring out how I'm going to farm, and they've been big influences on me on why our farm is the way it is. So here is a row of our Salanova lettuce. This is a big majority of what we grow and what has produced us the most money, at least in our first year, and I expect it will be at least half of the profit we make comes from these Salanova lettuce greens, and we put these in a mixed bag, and we do a lettuce mix, which is just a mix of these 4 loose leaf lettuce varieties, and we also do a spring mix, which is a mix with the lettuce mix here, and it also includes arugula and baby kale and sometimes Swiss chard and spinach if we have the spinach available, and also baby beet greens. We've been utilizing beet greens as an auxiliary green for our spring mix the entire year, and the spring mix has been a great seller for us, so we're going to continue to do that into the future. Another thing that we're growing here is arugula, and this row I did with the first time with a insect netting, and it did fairly well. I think I could have held it down a little bit better around the edges because there's still some bug damage around the edges, but for the most part this row looks really good. So this is something that I planned to have bagged by itself for the most of the year, but I couldn't because I couldn't figure out how to get the bugs off the greens, and it took me figuring out and just biting the bullet and getting this insect netting so that I could continue to grow the arugula without having to spray any chemicals or pesticides to get rid of them. So I bought that, and we finally got some arugula at the end of the year, and next year I plan to have arugula every single week at the market alongside our lettuce mixes and salad mixes. And I hope to get a tool called the Greens Harvester, which will allow me to save my back and a lot of time at harvesting these baby greens, which do take a long time when you're cutting by hand. But with the Greens Harvester I could do it in a few minutes and would save me a lot of time, and it would be a lifesaver, especially with 2 kids. So I'm excited to hopefully save up enough money to get that in for next season. So here we have another row of arugula. This was what it looks like when it's covered by the insect netting, and I'm probably going to take this off and cut some of this week. This row is, well, please ignore all of the weeds that you see. I know my rows are covered in weeds. I just lost control of that this year, and this was a very weedy compost, but doing the best we can. This is red Russian kale. This stuff has been a great seller for me at the market. I sell this individually in bags, and people buy this every week, and it seems like something that people want. It's a great kind of kale for eating raw. It's very tender, and I like to get it at this smaller stage here. So I put some of this in our spring mix, and the rest of it I bag individually for baby red Russian kale bags at the market, and I will do that again next year. All right, so here is one of my very last rows of carrots. Carrots are something that I wasn't planning on growing the beginning of this year. I was trying to stick to crops that were like quicker to maturity, like radishes, and the lettuces are less than 60 days. So what I wanted to do, because obviously I'm limited on space in this small plot, which seems big, maybe to people that aren't growing on a big, commercial scale. This isn't a large farm. Because I don't have a ton of space, and I did want to grow carrots, I decided to grow a rainbow variety, and if I can only grow so much carrots, that I wanted it to be very colorful and be able to catch people's eyes on our market stand. So I kind of created my own mix from a couple packets of seeds that I got at Baker Creek. Oh my goodness. And they sold really well. And what I did was I did a very intensive spacing. So I did 7 rows in a 30-inch wide bed, and I targeted more of a baby carrot. And I bagged them. I have been bagging them, and they've been selling really well. So like bagged baby carrots, specifically rainbow baby carrots, is something that people don't typically find at the grocery store, and people really have liked that I've had them on the market, and it's been a really good seller. So these last few weeks at the market, I've been going all in on my salad mixes and the bagged baby rainbow carrots, and it's been very successful. So I'm going to double down on that next year. And I actually found another site called the True Leaf Market, where they actually sell the rainbow carrots in bulk. So I got some on sale actually. So I already have my carrot seeds for next year, and I got a better deal on them than I did buying them in smaller quantities when I was making my own mix. So I'm really excited to have the rainbow carrots all year next year. And I think I'm going to do a variety. Some I will leave in the ground longer, because I'm pulling them between like 50 and 60 days rather than 65 to 75 days to get a full-size carrot. So some rows I will leave in the ground longer to get the full-size carrot, and some rows I will pull earlier to target the baby carrot, so I could target different kinds of people based on what needs they have in the kitchen. So these are the size of carrots that I'm targeting. They're about maybe a little bit longer than my finger, a little bit fatter than my finger. So these, this variety is called Mokum, and these guys make great baby carrots. And one of the ways this works on my farm, one of the ways this works in the context of my farm, where everything is short, I'm kind of short on space, right? I only have a certain amount of bed space, and I'm trying to grow things that have 60 days or less to maturity, so I can get things out of the ground quick and constantly replace that bed with a new crop. So carrots, these kind of carrots fit into my plan because these are ready in less than 60 days. These actually, I can get about this size carrot in about the same time it takes for a head of lettuce, which is less than 2 months. Like 45 to 50 days I can get baby carrots. And people really seem to like this at the market. I've been bagging these carrots. I sell these bagged. I take the tops off and I bag them. I've been doing 3/4 of a pound. I've been selling the bags for $3 with baby carrots, and people really seem to like that. So I am going to do a lot more of that next year. So that'll be pretty cool. This tarp here is 15 feet wide by 25 feet long, and I actually had 2 rows here of carrots that were done, and 1 row of I tried to grow spinach but just got overwhelmed with weeds. Basically, most things that I tried to direct seed into this compost, the weeds overpowered whatever seed I put in there, and the weeds just grew so fast and took over the bed. So I tarped it. I tarped these rows that I'm done with here, and it's actually over just grass here on the end here. I'm going to add an extra row because my sprinklers, my overhead sprinklers, can reach all the way over here. So I can add a 13th row here, and this is actually going to be a 13th row also. I had tarped this area where all these grow bags are, and you could see this was just from a month and a half, and the grass has completely died, and you just have a clay remaining there. So next year we'll add some compost to this, and this will be a 13th row. So we'll have 13 rows across here and 13 rows across here. So that'll be 26 rows. And then now we're going to talk about how we're going to utilize the back half of this plot to utilize the whole 4,000 square feet. So Lucy, who do we have here in this chicken tractor?
So this one's Brownie, and that one's Oreo, and
Yeah.
there's one missing.
No, it's just 2 of them. That's it, Brownie and Oreo.
But I saw a Rhode Island Red in here.
Yeah, I put the Rhode Island Red back in the coop with the other guys.
Oh. Oh, I thought there was another one.
There was. 3 was too many. So 2 is just the right amount of chickens for this tractor. It's 4 feet wide by 8 feet long. So these guys are doing a great job here. They are tilling up this grass that grew back here. And I could show you what they did here is they tilled this whole area. This goes back, I took them back about 40 feet. So you could see where the tractor stopped around here. And then they're working here. This is where the tractor is working up right now. So the chickens are tilling, turning, and fertilizing this ground that was grass. They're turning it into a nice tilthy soil, or at least the start of soil for next year. So this is going to come back. I'm going to do 40-foot rows here. I could do 50, but I have some trees back behind me here. So we're going to do 40-foot rows. Why do you have a timer there? Are you timing me? Am I taking too much time?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on, I'm almost done. So what I'm gonna do back here is do 10 rows at 40 feet going over this direction. So we'll have 10 long 40-foot rows across. And these 40-foot rows will be our lettuce rows next year. So it'll be really easy. This will be an area devoted just for growing our lettuces and our head lettuces. I'm going to do some more head lettuces next year to add some variety to what we have offered on our market stand. Before I had these chickens over here, I had a bunch of cover crops planted behind me. Some of it is millet, you might be able to see behind me. Some of it was corn that sprouted from their feed, that when I was feeding them in the tractor, I just put the feed right onto the ground, and some of that sprouted. Because I had chickens over here early in the spring too, back here. And some things that I planted directly into this soil, having it just be a thick clay, but the chickens were over here in this early spring, and I planted some squash, butternut squash, directly into this soil without adding compost or anything, and they did really well. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna experiment with next year, is not add any compost to this soil. I'm just going to have these chickens run in this tractor, go up and down till they complete the 10 rows that I want. And I'm gonna add some grass clippings like I just started to do here. I think I'm gonna do another video talking about grass clippings and the lawnmower with the bag attachment for the grass clippings. So the grass clippings, I am kind of shaping this first 40-foot bed, and I also get grass clippings from my neighbor. He helps me out. So we use grass clippings in the chicken coop as a mulch, and now we're also using them here to shape our beds. They're also going to add nitrogen to the soil on top of what the chickens already tilled up. So after the chickens do this over here, after they finish tilling up my 10 rows, we're going to put our big silage tarp. We have a 40-foot by 100-foot long silage tarp, and we're going to cover this whole field again in November, and we're going to let the farm go to sleep, and then we're going to wake it back up in the spring, early spring. We're going to take this tarp off, and we're going to start planting right into this ground where the chickens were, and we're going to have some really good healthy plants and healthy soil without even adding compost. This is what regenerative agriculture is all about. It's creating healthy soil structures, regenerating the soil without really damaging the soil, without tilling, without using heavy machinery, without using things that aren't natural to, destroy anything growing in the soil. So we're kind of imitating nature in a way to create the healthiest soil possible. And I really like that. Okay, so that's going to wrap up our first farm tour video of 2021. I wanted to do more of these tours throughout the growing season, but I was just so busy getting beds set up and getting things transplanted and just basically farming that I didn't get to do as many of these as I wanted to. But next year, hopefully, I will be able to do more because I got all those systems up and running now, and next year I'll be able to document a lot more of what we're doing on our tiny farm. So thank you to everyone that has supported us this year at the market, and thank you if you have stuck around to the end of this video. I appreciate it. If you're new here and you're not subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel and help us get over that 200 subscriber mark. That would be kind of cool. We're slowly inching up there on the subscriber count, so that is very cool. And anyway, that is going to wrap up this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.